Amitabh, you spent over 16 years in Kerala in the initial years, and you're somebody who's worked on brand Kerala, brand India. You brought the, finesse of advertising, etc., into building a brand. What were the results like from the time you started to what did the tourism numbers go up in Kerala, India? Tell us a little bit about what happened because of these campaigns.
When I joined tourism in Kerala, nobody had heard of Kerala as a tourism destination. It was a very low-value destination. We used to get charters with very low-value tourists from England. And actually, that's when we said we were going to take it up the value chain. So we stopped charters. There was a lot of hue and cry. We just cleaned up the beach on Kovalam. But simultaneously, we did everything which was an antithesis of what the world of tourism was all about. It was an antithesis of what the West knew of tourism was. We created new products of backwater. We created the Ayurveda. But we said that we'll go back to the roots of Kerala. So we went back to the architecture of Kerala, the Nalkattam houses. We went back to the traditional martial art of Kerala, Kalripet. We went back to the traditional cuisine of Kerala. So all this appam and stew that you get was a result of that. We went back to Tayyam and Kathakali of Kerala. We converted poachers into guides, and we made Kerala into one of the most sustainable, high-value products ever. And we took Kerala from about $50 a night destination to about a $500 night a destination based on the carrying capacity of the state. So my belief is that tourism has actually destroyed many destinations, and tourism has to be extremely sensitive, and that's the route we took of going back to exactly what the ethos and ethics of Kerala was all about.
So if you look at the numbers, how many were coming there versus later, just give us a sense of scale.
Well, the numbers grew, but I think more important than anything else, value grew. It became the highest earning destination of India. And I think more important than that, tourism created a vast number of jobs in Kerala. Yes. It created a vast number of jobs for women in Kerala. And therefore, the politicians started loving the sector. And everybody said that nothing can work in Kerala. It destroys jobs. You will always have strikes, bandh, jathas, morchas in Kerala. But tourism demonstrated the immense entrepreneurship of the Malayalis. Actually, it was a great product of local enterprise. It was a great product of boutique resorts. It was not a product of five-star hotels. So it was a unique creation of what Kerala was famous for. Its unique culture, its unique architecture. It became a unique destination.
Fantastic. And you took that to India. Yeah. Then you did the Incredible India campaign. Yeah. So what was it, again, tell me a little bit of the contrast. What did you start with?
So, suddenly one fine day, I got a call from the Prime Minister's Secretary, Mr. Brajesh Mishra, that day. He said that the Prime Minister wants to have a holiday in Kovalam, in Kumaragam, in the backwaters of Kerala. And we don't want anyone from the state. You will be responsible. You will be the only officer there. So I spent 7 days with the Prime Minister of India while he did his Kumaragam holidays. And I showed him around all the backwaters. So one night, Mr. Brajesh Mishra tells the Prime Minister that we should get this young officer to do tourism in India tourism. So Mr. Vajpayee asked me, have you applied, Amitabh? So I said, no, sir, I have not applied. He said, please do not apply. If you apply, Mr. Brajesh Mishra will send you, instead of tourism, to women and child welfare. So I didn't apply, but I applied after a year and a half. And Mr. Brajesh Mishra, I was supposed to go to Finance Ministry. And Mr. Brajesh Mishra one day called me on a Sunday and said, have you applied for Delhi? So I said, have you applied for Government of India? I said, yes. So he said, you know where you're going? I said, yes, I'm going to Finance Ministry. He said, no, you're not going there. You remember that conversation? You're going to tourism. So that's how I landed up in tourism. As soon as I had landed, 2 months later, the Twin Tower blast in New York happened. And then there was a war in Afghanistan. There was an attack on our parliament, and our existing hotels were just doing about 15-20% occupancy. There was no consumer demand. So we went to tour operators, and that's how travel and tourism used to be sold, through tour packages. And we told the tour operators that we'll finance you, we'll support you, we'll do your advertising, but please sell India. They said, even if you buy the whole brochure, India will not sell. There's just no consumer demand for India. And at the peak of that crisis, when Singapore had stopped advertising, when Thailand had stopped advertising, when Malaysia had stopped advertising, we went and did an Incredible India campaign across a 360-degree. We went on television, we went on the net, we went and attacked the market, we brutally hit the consumer, and we brought consumer demand back. And actually, tourism in India grew. Hotels started doing 90 to 100% occupancy. The demand was so much that new airlines came in, private sector entrepreneurship came in, and that was when the demand for new airports came in. So the Chennai, the Hyderabad, the Bangalore, the Delhi, the Mumbai airport started, the new airports were thought of and conceptualized then. And that's how in India tourism grew from just about 2 million to about 8 million that period of time. But more than that, the unit value realization just shot up. And again, the same strategy. Go back to the roots of India, yoga, meditation, the strength of India, its culture, its art forms, again. And that's how Incredible India really went and hit the hearts of people.
Yeah, and I think it was not just here, it was outside also. I remember taxis.
It was largely
India.
outside. But then, simultaneously, we did a big campaign on cleanliness. We trained our taxi drivers, we trained our guides, because we said that, tourism is essentially a private sector activity. So we said everybody has to become a brand ambassador for India.
Yeah. And, you said actually in your quotes that it's a historic and rare window of demographic transition where 138 million people go to working population by 2021. Now, we just talked about in the face of technology, artificial intelligence, robotics, jobs going away, new people coming into the market. What are some of the things you've worked on to make it easy to do business in India or to get more people into the working class?
First and foremost, we've made India very complex, very complicated, and very difficult place to do business in. So we need to dismantle a lot. We need to dismantle acts, rules, regulations, just break them apart. Allow businesses to flourish. So we see this, huge amount of energy, number of presentations here. We need all these people to grow and flourish. And therefore, the 68 years of legacy has to be radically altered. And I think a lot of that is underway. So we've dismantled about 153 laws have been done away with. You can register a company in one day. You can do MSME can do a form in exactly 2 minutes now in India. A lot of that has changed in India. We shot up about 12 position in ease of doing business. But more important is that a lot of action is in the states. So we said last year we created 100 points on which we said we'll make states compete. And states competed with each other, and we said we are going to name and shame them. So last year we did this on 100 points, and we ranked the states and put it in public domain. This we are ranking and putting on public domain, on 344 points on ease of doing business. To my mind, it's very important to disrupt our education system.
Yes.
And one of the key things that we are doing is that on learning outcomes this year, we are making the states compete on learning outcomes. We are making them compete on health outcomes. And we are going to challenge the states into acting. But while we challenge them, we'll also support them. So a lot of disruption around education, around health is really the need of the hour.
So when you ran this competition, were the results already who's in the top 5 or bottom 5? You said you posted it on public.
Yeah, it was put in public domain. And the great thing was that while Gujarat then came number 1, Andhra came number 2. Telangana was pretty far behind. But this year, we've also created a dynamic portal. So every day's improvement, you'll see whether you're going up or down. So Telangana has moved up, radically up. It's almost beating Andhra. Gujarat has fallen behind. And I think the good news is that states like Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand have done extremely well. Yeah. They've done a lot of business process reengineering.
Yeah. So it's a dynamic thing.
It's a dynamic portal. You'll see it minute to minute, whether you're going up or down. Mm-hmm. And therefore, it's a real challenge, Yeah. So yesterday, the Chhattisgarh chief secretary came and met me. He said, I was at number 2 position a week back. I've now gone down to number 6. As soon as I go back, I have to push myself up. So there's a huge challenging spirit. And that's what you've got to do.
And, you also talk about India as a world-class in frugal innovations in engineering. Just give some examples of innovation that has come from India. I'm not talking about jugaad where we somehow put it together, but actually you talk about frugal innovation we have done.
So, it's important to understand that what we've done in space technology, what ISRO has done, put your spaceship on the moon at almost 1/10 the cost of the rest of the world has done, and India really truly combines a unique spirit. I mean, look at what Renault Kwid has done. 118 years of history of a European car maker. It's never made a car outside Europe. It comes in, innovates, designs, manufactures a car in India, and now is exporting to 68 countries of the world. So there's something right happening here. The need for India is not driverless car at all. So India's need is totally different. India needs sewerage-free India. India needs water for its citizens. India needs clean water for drinking purposes. India needs Sada Bahar Bharat. India needs people, farmers, Indian young entrepreneurs. So young Indian entrepreneurs need to innovate, but they need to innovate to ensure that Indian farmers get seed, fertilizer, water for their fields so that productivity levels go up. So please do not ape the West. We need to radically disrupt ourselves, but we need to disrupt for 1 billion Indians. And when you disrupt for 1 billion Indians, you'll actually be disrupting for the next 7 billion people who will move from poverty to the middle class in the next decade. Yeah.
And you also talk a lot about innovation. What are some of the other areas of innovation you would love to see happen in India when you look at health, when you look at environment, etc.? What are some of the things you would love to see happen in India?
My belief is that the kind of energy, the kind of vibrancy, the kind of passion that's going on in India is unbelievable.
Yep.
I mean, it's people talk about Silicon Valley, but you go to Bangalore, you go to Hyderabad, it's totally unbelievable, and it's not happening in the digital world. It's happening across health. You look at a startup like Practo, you look at Meena Ganesh doing Portia, you look at Mitra Biotech, what they're doing in the world of cancer. It's unbelievable what's happening. You look at a young startup like Hello English, who goes and trains 9 million Indians in a year to speak English. Or you look at what's happening in IIT Chennai. It's unbelievable. I mean, their startups, while in campus, they are creating the new scooters for tomorrow, the new energy systems for tomorrow. They are creating the new robots for tomorrow. So it's something unbelievable happening.
Yeah.
But also, let me tell you that in the last 4 years, 1,500 multinational corporations from across the world, and you name it, from IBM to 3M to Cisco to all the top pharmaceutical companies of the world have relocated their global innovation centers to Bangalore and Hyderabad. And they've created close to about 300,000 jobs there. So, global innovation is not happening out of the head offices of multinational corporations anymore. It's all happening in Bangalore and Hyderabad. So Indians are doing it for the rest of the world, and right from Bangalore and Hyderabad.
And part of the thing, Amitabh, that we're doing here is that all these stories are happening, but they're not being told on a global stage. So we are collecting all these stories, all the people you heard this morning.
Don't say it's not, people are not hearing, people are hearing, and that's why Mark Zuckerberg goes and invests in Baiju Ravindran of Calicut. I mean, this young boy from Calicut starts teaching classes, taking large classes for disrupting the education system. He's truly disrupted. Yeah. Mark Zuckerberg comes in and says, no, I'm going to invest in Baiju. So people are going to hear of spectacular things which young Indians are doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I have great optimism about India. I mean, what these young Indians are doing is unbelievable.
I totally agree.
Let me tell you this. I go 4 times a year to Silicon Valley. I travel all over the world. But the kind of energy you see in Bangalore and Hyderabad, you don't see anywhere else in the world.
I agree. Yeah. And, one of the things you've been working a lot on is Make in India.
Yeah.
What are the kind of things that we need to do, we need to train, etc. here so that we can become a hub for creating products?
So, one is that what I said, Make India extremely easy and simple. Allow young entrepreneurship to grow and flourish. Secondly, we must understand that we are in a globalized world. India must be an integral part of the global supply chain. So we've opened up our FDI regime across defense, across manufacturing, across construction. And our FDI has grown by 53% compared to 16% decline across the world. India is the #1 recipient of FDI across the world today. It's much higher. It's #1 beating China this year. And therefore, we need to keep opening up, allow the best minds from across the world, the best companies from across the world to come into India, manufacture here, and don't manufacture for India. There's a domestic market, but no country in the world has grown on the back of domestic markets. Yes. Go and penetrate global markets. What you get in the domestic market, 10x of that you'll get in the global markets. Whether it was Japan, whether it was Korea, whether it was China, all of them have grown on the back of export markets. So penetrate those markets. That must be the challenge for our young people. That's the key. And secondly, total factor productivity must rise in India. When Japan was growing, factor productivity was rising at about 30%. When Korea grew, it was rising at 42%. When China started growing, total factor productivity went up by about 79%. And therefore, the challenge for India is to do the same things far more efficiently. Use technology to leapfrog. And what India has, no other country in the world has. 1 billion biometrics, we have 1 billion mobile, we have, by 2024, we'll have 1 billion smartphones. So the world of innovation is open to us. In the last 45 years, we've just sanctioned 12 banks. In the last 6 months, we've sanctioned 23 banks. So financial inclusion will take place, biometric will come in, smart mobility will come in, and use this smart mobile to make a quantum jump. The technological jump will happen from India. No other country will have 1 billion biometrics, which India has.
So how about, what are some of the things we can do that are happening that we may not know of in energy or, 24/7 power, or, what are some of the things that are happening in the infrastructure area?
No, so I think one of the key things that's happening is that a lot of business process re-engineering is taking place.
Yeah.
A lot of restructuring in different sectors is taking place. For instance, if you look at roads, the total number of contracts that have been rolled out is India needs to create world-class infrastructure. So that's gone up by about almost close to about 46%. Railway contracts have gone up. The work on railway has gone up. But my belief is that more than just infrastructure, we need to really alter our education and our health system. That's the key. The key for India is change, radical change in education, radical change in health, and radical change in nutrition. We can't afford the extent of, the kind of lack of nutrition that we have in India. And I think the third key thing for India is to understand that wealth is created by urbanization. And urbanization will be the big wave. America is urbanized, Europe is urbanized, China is nearing its completion, but in India it's just begun. In the next 5 decades, we'll have 700 million people getting into the process of urbanization. And therefore, India has to create 2.5 Americas. That's the challenge. When America urbanized, they created lousy cities. They created cities like Atlanta, where 98% of the people travel by cars. So they created the most polluting cities of the world. They created cities for cars, not for people. India needs to create innovative, sustainable cities. Indian cities must be embedded with public transportation. There must be cities for cycling, for walking. India's city must be for recycling of water, for recycling of waste. And that's an opportunity India has to create a model for the rest of the world in urbanization. That'll be our key to my mind, the key challenge for India is urbanization, education, health, nutrition.
I would ask you couple of personal questions, Amitabh. You have like this amazing energy. Were you always like this in school? Were you like a debater? What did you do, or is this something you just came to you later? Tell us, where does this energy comes from?
Well, I keep running into problem all the time, so I have to fight my battle. I run into problem with politicians, I run into problem with colleagues, but I love to take them along. So, it's a great thing. I have a tremendous team in NITI, and we're trying to restructure a lot of policy measures.
Yeah. But you didn't answer my question. Were you like this in school? Were you a debater? Where did this passion for speaking come for you?
Well, I've been debating, but more than that, I really feel the passion that this is the opportunity for India. I mean, if the next 5 years will enable India to really make a radical difference to what India is doing.
So, but tell me, were you an A-grade student in school or a troublemaker?
Well, I was a troublemaker for sure, but I was a great sportsman.
What did you play?
I played a lot of cricket. I played a lot of golf. I play a lot of golf now, but I love to play, and I've always enjoyed. I would term myself as a fine student. That's what all.
So one last personal question. What's your favorite movie?
Well, I loved Sultan. You know, it was very, very raw middle-class India. It was, I loved the portrayal of a wrestler. I think it was brilliantly portrayed. And I love Anushka Sharma for her energy.
All right, you named a strong woman. Yeah. That's good. So anything you want to leave? When you talk, we have a lot of young people here, from colleges, entrepreneurs, etc. What would you love to see from our young people?
Just go and disrupt everything in India. That's it. Become the biggest disruptionist that India has ever seen. India needs disruption, and you guys must be the torchbearers for that.
Great. Thank you so much, Amitabh.
That's a pleasure. Thank you.